Welcome to this edition of Under the Radar for Saturday, June 3rd, and like a passerby at a horrific car accident, I just cannot look away from the unfolding disaster that is Evergreen State College. So last week I asked the question, where are the adults? Well, I can tell you where they aren't. They do not occupy the administration building at Evergreen State College, nor does any semblance of adulthood reside in the emasculated shell of a man and president of Evergreen State College, George Bridges. Here is George being dictated to by students.
All of us are students and have homework and projects and things due. Have you sent an email out to our faculty letting them know?
No.
What's been done about that? Because we're all here on our own time.
Yeah. Eating cake, girl.
That is the first thing I'll do. I have not done it yet, but I will.
So they need to be told that these assignments won't be done on time. And we don't need to be penalized for that.
I don't know the names of all the students here.
We'll just send it to all the faculty.
It doesn't matter.
Your vice president is black, so I know you can do it, George.
I love your confidence in me. Hey, hold on. Sorry. I speak with my hands.
Dude, the faculty need to know what's going on so that y'all can't keep doing this pointing fingers. And since I know
You act like we don't have technology, yo.
Are you listening? Okay, this is it. This is how you can help.
Please.
You please, George, you please. Come on.
I'm trying to talk.
okay, we trying to listen. Go ahead.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead and say it.
I want to go to work on these with Wendy, the other people here, the faculty.
Oh, faculty, y'all staying?
I need some privacy, folks. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have claustrophobia.
Oh, okay.
And we endure hate crimes on your campus and we pay to be here for it.
That students of color have to work in threatening environments every day.
Come on, baby.
Welcome. Get to work.
You can get that work. We need the desk. Can he get the desk? I mean, whatever he needs.
Yeah, George, you're going to have migrate to your desk.
We'll be right here.
All right, George, I'm going to catch you on the flip side, Playboy.
Sorry, folks. I will work on these. You hold me accountable by Friday.
George, this is shit we got to do every day. If you don't go to your desk, you don't let us do.
So by Friday, if all those are met, you need to pay for a potluck.
I pay for a potluck anyway.
Yeah, okay, bet. Okay, we want gumbo. Bet.
We want gumbo made by my mama.
Okay.
Trying to copy this to put it up on the college website.
You can scan it. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to scan this. We're going to put it up on the college's website, okay?
Oh, we gotta tell you management skills. They got scanners down in the library.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
Peace out, y'all.
Tired now.
So I think it's clear from this video that whilst George Bridges may nominally be the president of Evergreen, it's the inmates that are running the asylum. And it's also clear they have absolutely no respect for this non-man. He's a joke, and the students treat him as such because he lets them. Now, most people will say that these students are childish, they're delusional, they're uninformed, which is all true, but it should also be said they are stunningly dishonest.
That students of color have to work in threatening environments every day.
Come on, baby.
Welcome. Get to work.
Students of colour have to work in threatening environments every day? That's just a bald-faced lie. You're on a college campus. You are not under any threat. You're amongst some of the most privileged people on the planet. But if you let people get away with such brazen falsehoods, well then don't be surprised when they keep doubling down. But not only are the students dictating terms, they are holding administrators hostage.
Okay, so the priority is that they stay in that room. If they aren't in that room, then we did something wrong. So you'll need to watch that door, watch all the doors, watch the windows. You need to keep eyes on them. And somebody needs to go in that room real quick to make sure that there's no way in that room for them to leave.
Now the sound is a little hard to hear, but if you didn't get that, the chocolate brony was instructing his comrades that they must make sure that the faculty and administrators involved in the appeasement process stay in the room, and that the communist Red Guard need to watch all the windows and doors, and that someone needs to go in the room and make sure there's no way they can get out until the demands are met. Oh, and if you want to take a piss, as Cuck-in-Chief George requests,
Oh,
you'll get an escort.
Come back, George.
Now let's not forget about Professor Bret Weinstein, who sparked this controversy and has subsequently appeared on the Rubin Report and the Joe Rogan podcast and received a huge amount of public support for his actions. Because he's now been condemned in a letter by 50, that's about a quarter of the Evergreen State College faculty. So I took the liberty of cutting and pasting the letter because the original font was a little hard to read. June 2nd, 2017. As Evergreen faculty members, we acknowledge that all of us who have power within the institution share responsibility for the racist actions of others. Furthermore, those of us who are white bear a particularly large share of that responsibility. There's such a rich vein of white guilt to exploit at this place, you could bottle it and sell it. Now, much of this letter is about defending the students' actions and about appeasing them, and at the end, they give their list of demands in solidarity with the students, the most striking of which is the following. Demonstrate accountability by pursuing a disciplinary investigation against Bret Weinstein according to guidelines in the Social Contract and Faculty Handbook. Weinstein has endangered faculty, staff and students, making them targets of white supremacist backlash by promulgating misinformation in public emails, on national television, in news outlets and on social media. And so if you want to know where students get their warped ideas, their penchant for making accusations without evidence and inventing false narratives of danger, then look no further than the faculty. And check out the level of delusion. We are angry and frustrated and concerned. And you can't write. One of those ands is redundant. We also believe, however, that if the college can muster a meaningful collective response to recent events, this can be a powerful lever for growth in student numbers, success and equity, and for future institutional change.
Wow!
Well, I'm not too sure about that growth in student numbers because there does appear to be some adults left in Washington state and they're proposing measures that will lead to a decrease in student numbers. Lawmakers propose defunding Evergreen State amid protests. State lawmakers in Washington are fed up with the antics of Evergreen State College and plan to introduce legislation Thursday to privatise the left-leaning institution. Led by Republican State Representative Matt Manuela, the legislators are considering revoking $24 million in state funding but vow that financial aid will remain available to students. Evergreen State students held a protest recently after a Liberal professor questioned plans to ask white students and faculty to leave campus during a day of diversity programming. And here is Representative Matt Manuela talking about Evergreen.
Representative Matt Manuela plans now to introduce a bill to pull $24 million of state funding from Evergreen. He says the school doesn't deserve public funding because of this and previous student disruptions.
This is like a parent looking at a spoiled brat having a temper tantrum and appeasing that child. I mean, these students need to be educated on what it means to live in a tolerant society where you're open to ideas.
And I think most adults would agree with that. So perhaps it's worth reminding ourselves of what an adult response from the college administrators would look like. Remember the incident at Ohio State University last year where students rushed into a building, occupied it, and issued demands.
To negotiate with y'all, do you have a response to those demands?
Yes, we do. Dr. Drake has said that he will never receive demands, and he will not negotiate with you. And so let me go to the next part of my conversation, and this is the part I don't want to give you, but I'm going to, because I feel you have a right to know this. If you are students, and I think the vast majority of you are, I want you to understand that you are violating the student code of conduct as dictated by Dr. Drake 15 minutes ago to me on the phone. We have chosen to try to work with you this evening because we respect you and this is your university, and we want to have dialogue. We want the dialogue to extend beyond tonight. But if you refuse to leave, then you will be charged with a student code of conduct violation. and I'm telling you this now because I want you to have good thought and careful consideration. If you're here at 5 a.m., we will clear the building and you will be arrested. And we will give you the opportunity to go to jail for your beliefs. Yes, sir.
What do you mean by clear the building?
Our police officers will physically pick you up and take you to a paddy wagon and take you to be arrested. Now, if you're here at 5 o'clock, our current philosophy is we are going to take you out and escort you out of the building and arrest you. You will be discharged from school also. I'm fairly confident of that. And I don't want you to be surprised. I want you to make good decisions. You're smart kids.
Discharged as in
Expelled.
We're not here to scare anybody, so if there's somebody that we scared and you give me a name, I will go.
No, we don't do that. We simply tell you the truth, and then you live with your actions.
Now, the adults at Ohio State invoked the Student Code of Conduct to enforce their actions, but the problem for Evergreen is that the inmates are now collaborating on rewriting Evergreen's Code of Conduct and presumably making sure they can't be held responsible for their actions. So the campus has been closed since Thursday evening from my understanding, so I guess we'll see what develops over the weekend. But one thing is clear. George Bridges has seceded control over Evergreen State College to a bunch of lunatic students with the backing of a significant number of equally foolish faculty members. Enabling these activist psychos will inevitably lead to a widening disconnect between what's happening on campus and the public perception of what should be happening, no doubt lending support to Representative Manweller's proposal to defund the school. So what do you think? Should Evergreen State College be defunded? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.